Okay, Alex Pastecki, big fan. Good evening, legends. So how about that Mark Tobias tweet? Okay, sure. But P.S. Okay, but really, I understand the plight of the old guard professional Magic player, that it isn't what it used to be in terms of being able to chain together invites to a point. As a washed up Magic player, I got a little bit of the fire back seeing the PT stage in person this weekend at MagicCon Chicago, though I've already come to terms with my potential shots at the Pro Tour being one and done affairs. My question is that should everyone just accept that the gravy train is just a relic of the past, or should Wizards make a more concerted effort to have a bigger crowd of familiar faces at the Pro Tour with a healthier amount of requalifications? Well, Alex, I'm going to start this one. Depends on the goals. If you want to have the same faces around at every single event to make the Pro Tour feel familiar and or to make the coverage feel familiar, then you can structure a system that way so that you're seeing the same faces, same name and faces, excuse me, with regularity. If you prefer to have a one and done approach where you're seeing different faces and we're having different people qualify for the Pro Tour, then you can do that as well, which is what I think they are doing more of now this time around, which is more of the one and done style approach. But it depends on what you're trying to accomplish. The days obviously of like the gravy train and like, what is it, like bronze, gold, silver, platinum, like that shit's long gone, and it should be because it's a fucking awful use of money. But should there be something where it feels like you can get on and stay on with something resembling regularity? Here's the thing that I think a lot of people don't realize. This shit's hard. And so it shouldn't be easy to stay on. It's the highest echelon of Magic. It shouldn't just be, oh, I made it here and I went like 4-10 and I just get to keep coming back. Like, that's hard. And it should be. So I don't think that people should just be able to connect invites in an easy way.
I largely agree. And also, I mean, that this is a partially, maybe totally a projection. But I think that a lot of people who are very good at Magic would have a much healthier relationship with it if they were qualified for exactly one Pro Tour a year.
Okay.
And that's the level at which I think a lot of players in sort of the RCQ, RC milieu sort of engage with it, right? It's like, they're not dreaming about, or maybe they're dreaming about, but realistically, it's not about doing it in perpetuity. It's like going to a Pro Tour would be cool. It's cool. The Pro Tours are awesome experiences. And even if you get to the Pro Tour, at the end of the day, unless you do well, you're probably going to be down money on it. So I think it's healthier to just kind of treat it as a vacation. If I could play in one Pro Tour a year without doing anything, I would be so gassed up for that.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
And enough that would make me maybe occasionally consider playing a tournament or whatever to that end. But I don't think it behooves Wizards to do it for the reasons that Cedric's mentioning. And I also don't think it would even be a better experience for the average Magic player either, because most of them are not even remotely engaging with it on that level.
I'll also say this is my experience a little bit, so I'm projecting. Look, I was on the train for 7 Pro Tours. Like, I top 8 at Kyoto in 2009, which was the first PT of the season. And then I think it was like, there was 2 Pro Tours after that. I can't remember. Austin, and it was Hawaii and then Austin. And then I had to do well on a GP to qualify for Worlds. And so I top 32 that GP, which qualified me for Rome, which put me on the train for the following year. And then it was like a PT somewhere, and then a PT in Amsterdam that I did bad in. And then if I went to Worlds in Japan, I think it was Yokohama, that would have gotten me the necessary pro points to play on to be on the train for the following year. I was broken miserable.
Oh yeah, me too.
I seriously, like, I hated my life. I wrote an article about Amsterdam that I titled Pro Tour Disasterdam, which a lot of people thought was fun, whatever. But like, I was broke. I was miserable. I hated playing. And so whatever, being on the train for the Pro Tour is different for everybody. But like, for me, it was awful. I really didn't enjoy playing at that time. I was just trying to string together invites. Every tournament was high stress. I need to do well to be able to pay my rent. In my early 20s, I don't have a job. I'm focusing all of my time and energy on this. I'm obviously not as good as like the best people in the world. I'm a step below them, but I'm good enough to be here, sort of thing. And it's just like, yeah, this is horrible. Like, it's fun, but it's also stressful. And then like, if you don't do well, that's not fun, that sort of thing. It's not cheap. So I'm with you, man. Like, if someone just told me, yo, you get to play in like 1 PT a year, like, great.
Yeah.
You know, and even in like my like last decade, like the back end of that decade, like 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 or whatever. I feel like I played like exactly one Pro Tour most of those years.
Mm-hmm.
Good enough.
Yeah.
You know,
It's fun.
It's good enough.
It's cool.